Hello, everyone. And so this is my first code sprint, and this is embarrassing, but I haven't had any time to work on this stuff. I've got basically about 15 minutes of work represented here. What I've got is I ended up signing up for the Unity Pro trial because I wanted to have the ability to do render target. So I've got this little render target here that's rendering my character moving around. This is just a very simple test. And I've got this marble texture that I made in Neo Texture Edit, which I very much like, and hopefully it will allow me to create more content for this. And I have a concept for the game, but yeah, I haven't gotten any work done on it. So yes, less than 17 hours remaining. I do usually do my best work in the last minute. I was a chronic procrastinator when I grew up, and I can't say that that's changed very much. So let's see what I'm going to work on here. So what would be the first thing to check out? So I've got my basic concept. I'm actually going to do some art stuff. So Code Sprint's probably going to be a stretch for this because I'm actually going to be doing more artwork in this game than I typically do in games. And all of it's going to be Unity ghetto art. So let's see what we got here. Got a cube. We're going to make this thing, I don't know. What's a good size for this? We want it to be big, so let's make it 2 by 2. No, not 12. Yeah, that's good. And then I'm gonna move it up a little bit, maybe. That's probably good enough. So this is gonna be part of my throne. So I'm not sure how much I want to give up on the video. I'm just going to start programming. I'm not going to say exactly what I'm doing. Whatever. People, it's not like anyone's going to steal the idea in the last 17 hours anyway, and it's not like it's that great an idea, and I'm sure there are other people doing it. So my concept is you're the boss, and you're waiting in your boss room for the player to come, and so you can fight him. And along the way, you're going to be monitoring his progress and triggering traps via a elaborate throne/computer system. Just think that you're Dr. Claw or Dracula or something, but except for kind of a little bit more high tech. So this is going to be part of my throne. So throne base. I'm going to create another cube, and we're gonna wait. What is this? Whatever. We can change the facing later. I'm going to go ahead and make this into an arm. Let's go 0.75. Actually, wait, where's this? Let's put this at 0 so we know what we're doing. Okay, 0, and then, yeah, that's actually good. That's where I want it anyway. And let's move this one over to 0, 0, 0. And then move it out and up. I'm going to actually move it out to 1.025. And we're going to change the dimensions of it a little bit. One of the other things I want to do for this is some music, and I'm not very talented in the music section. And that's unfortunate too because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it. So yeah, this is going to be a really boxy throne. Jeez. That looks kind of good enough, I guess. But I end up doing the Z. Z is 2, 1, 1.5. That goes underneath, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. That's perfect, okay. And we're just going to duplicate that. And this one's called left arm. I'm going to say throne, left arm. Actually, we'll just do left arm. We're going to call this base. I'm going to go ahead and create an empty game object called throne to put the stuff in. So throne is at, I want throne to be at 0, 0, 0. That's where we're starting all this stuff. And then we're going to put the left arm in it and the base in it. We're We're going to duplicate the left arm. We're going to call it right arm. I think I've got another duplicated one here too already, so let me just delete this one. I'm going to drag this one over. And let's see. 0.75, is that what we want? 75. No, we just want one here, don't we? What is this one at? Oh, it's at some really random value. 0.9. Yeah, we'll do 0.9. I don't know why it has to be even values with me, but I just didn't like that. And I'd kind of like the back to be a little bit fancier. I'm just going to start with cubes now, though, because I don't want to spend too much time on content creation, especially when I have so little time left. I am interested to see how this project comes out. I have a vision in my mind. I may actually even convert this into a jam. I'm aiming for the Ludum Dare 48 because I like doing it, and I'm doing the project by myself, so I may as well go for all the glory as opposed to just some partial glory. But I really do enjoy these competitions. They're fun. 2 and 2, 3, 3. There we go. That's closer. Let's see. Let's move it into position here. So the X should be 0. We're going to. That's just not big enough thrown there. I actually want it even bigger. Let's make it kind of stupid, ridiculous, huge. Not that ridiculous, huge. All right. And I'm going to hopefully have some texturing and cool, good stuff here. I want to learn a lot from this in the art department just because I don't do a whole lot of art type stuff on Unity typically. 3, 2 point. Is that above it? Yeah. All right. Well, it goes in slightly. I don't know why, but whatever. Yeah, that's a good throne. All right, so we're gonna be sitting on this thing. Let's just see how it looks and feels in here. Oh, that's actually like perfect size. All right. All right. All right. And this marble texture is just a test thing I did really quickly. So it was just one element in that texture editor, which I'm going to show off probably on this thing soon. So let's see. I want decor because that'll help sell it, but let's work on some actual game mechanic stuff, or at least set up for it. So my concept is you're going to be in this throne and you're going to be locked in at first, so you can only look around. You're not going to be able to move around with the WASD. I'm going to unlock that only when the player comes in. And actually, I think there's a button that I'm going to make. Actually, I'll make it so that you can unlock it and walk around as at will. But we'll actually readjust this stuff first. So the reason I sprung for Unity Pro, as I said earlier, is because I want these camera screens to be available. I'm going to rotate this. No, wrong way. There we go. Let's do 180. And okay, good. That's looking right. Ooh, Hall of Mirrors. Can I do that? Oh, that's awesome. Wait, does that happen? It does. Wow. That's kind of wild. Let me just hit play real quick and look at this. That's funny. I wouldn't have expected it to actually render more than one depth. I would have expected it to render the scene and place it on there, and that would be it. But evidently it will self-render. That's kind of cool. Alright, well, we'll be wanting to avoid that. So I need to make a couple of play spaces, and they all have to exist in this world. So the most logical place to put them is actually underneath the floor. So we're going to work under the floor for a little bit here. I'm going to move this down. So we're going to call this camera room 1 camera. Alright, so that makes this kind of important to block in some way, shape, and form, or at least make sure that I don't have it in the scene. I'm probably going to be using orthographic on most of the ones here, so I can probably get away with some real big cheating. Let's make it further under the floor, though. Let's go ahead and make it safe and go about 50 negative, like, I don't know, make it negative 25. That should probably give us enough room for what we need to do. And I'm going to just make this one at 0 and 0. And let's actually, yeah, that's fine. We'll just move it over to the right or something. It doesn't matter if they exist outside the level. I'm going to try and, we'll see what we do with everything. I may make this plane just really, really large just to make sure that we don't have any problems. 100, 100. And I'm going to go ahead and change the tiling on this to make it the same size as it was before. Yeah, that goes kind of out into nowhere, and it looks terrible with the mip mapping, but it'll probably look even worse without it. Let's actually find out. I'm going to go to my quick and dirty marble, and I'm going to change the advanced settings, I guess. That's stupid. And then I'm going to not generate mip maps and hit apply and see what that does. Oh yeah, that's worse. That's way worse. Okay, never mind. Let's generate those mip maps. And let's go ahead and, can I do, like, if I, yeah, that fixes things quite a bit. Let's do it times 4. That makes it good enough for the distances we're going to have. Alright. Cool. So we have this huge field. We're going to be putting walls in. It's going to be like a boss room type thing. So I want to make these cameras, and so I'm not an artist. I'm not sure if you noticed. So what I am going to do is, most of the game is going to take place on these screens, and basically we're going to have screens and little trap buttons and stuff. And I'm going to basically be looking into another area of the level. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to make it so that when you're looking through the screens, they're going to look more like radar displays. And so I'm going to actually make the art kind of abstract, more abstract than this. Like this kind of looks like a throne. I'm going to be like just kind of abstracting the level design, and I'm going to probably be making it 2D style for the screen. So you're going to be watching him as if you were like a Mega Man boss or something that had screens in your room and you were watching. Or actually, more specifically, the inspiration comes from Gunstar Heroes. Because in Gunstar Heroes, the last level, they have kind of a boss parade type thing where you fight all the bosses again. Actually, and it's cool because they're actually new bosses, but they're the old pilots of those bosses. But what was cool about it is you play the game on the monitor that the bad guys are watching you on, and they send each dude out separately to beat you. And I just really like that concept, and it's very rare to see something that cool in a game, especially such an early game. It's a 16-bit generation Genesis game. It's not like a 3D game or anything, and they decided to just frame the screen as if you were part of the security system as opposed to playing the game in the full screen environment. So now that I've gotten too long explaining that, let's set up the first scene. I haven't put a lot of thought into how I'm going to set this up, so let's actually just go down to the room 1 camera and focus on it. Come on, focus, thank you. And as I said, I'm going to go for orthographic on these, so let's just do an orthographic projection right now. And let's start building kind of a scene. So I want to make all of these areas kind of black. So, oh, the clear flags, I can change them. Solid color, I'm going to make the background black. Okay, perfect. Now it doesn't look like the rest of the sky. That'll be perfect. Now I can have a fancy skybox in the rest of the world, and this one will still show black. We're going to create a cube. This is going to be our placeholder player. I'm going to call this player for right now. And we're going to create a material. I'm going to call it vector green. I'm calling it that because I may actually apply textures to all these things or none of these things later. We'll see what I have time for. And we're going to change this to unlit. Wait, no. Self-illuminating diffuse. Yeah, I guess that would be it. And then we're going to do green. And then we're going to apply it to our cube. So this is going to represent the player. We're going to push it out into the camera's field of view, which it's not in there somehow. Or is it just super freaking small? Let's change the size. There it is. Yeah, it's just super small. Whoa, what was happening with that? Wait, what just happened? Oh, I moved it. That's what was happening with it. That was very confusing. All right, so 3.98, let's just make it 5. Let's make it so there's more space to work with. Let's make it 10. We'll make the player very, very small on these screens. So let's see how this actually looks on our camera here. I want to move the camera so that it is within our display area. So let's move this around. Let's actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on the player's camera. I'm going to align view to selected. And then we can move this around. This is going to be level 1. I'm going to put it kind of on the left-hand side so you can look at it. I'm going to angle these in and make them a little bit fancier. Like right now, this is just a cube with a texture on it, basically. But so there we have our cube. That's still too kind of badly angled. Let's bring it in closer. And let's change the aspect ratio on these screens. I like them to be 4:3. So what is 4:3 if I decide if they decide the Y scale is right? So 4:3. So the Y is just multiply things here. Calculator. 1 times. Okay. 4 divided by 3 is a big number. That's right. That's what we want. So clear 4 divided by 3. It's not a big number, but it's like as opposed to 3 divided by 4 is a bigger number than that. Then we're going to times that by 1 equals. Okay, that was easy enough. I don't know why I even bothered to do that. Evidently, I'm tired. 3. There we go. So now we have these nice old school. Oh, it actually. Oh, because this is a square texture. Never mind. I'm going to keep them square. Let's actually see what options I have for that. So this is the first time I've used render textures. So let's see how this actually looks. Wrap mode, clamp, bilinear. It has to be. Oh, I can do. Nah, it doesn't solve my problem. I don't want it to be 2:1 aspect. So yeah, we'll just make them square. It's kind of lame, but we'll make it look good. I'm just gonna go ahead and rotate this a little bit in 165. Sounds good. Let me hit play. Oh, it's because I'm falling. That's the problem. Okay, it's because I'm not actually in the chair yet. Let's minimize that fall. I basically make it so that I come in and I don't fall at all. Alright. And I'm not going to get stuck or fall through the geometry, right? Alright, good. Alright, so we're going to do play. Too high. So let's make it lower. 3.75 sounds good. No, how about 3.75? It'll make more sense when I have to put more together. Alright, so that gives me an idea of how it looks though, and it looks like 256 by 256 should be enough resolution to see what's going on in that world. So let's go back to our player. And let's make the rest of this world. So can I align my view with selected? Ooh, does it actually even make it? It does. That's nice. All right. So let's put, so what are these cubes? Okay, so this is a room monitor 1. Actually, room 1 monitor. So now I've got room 1 camera and room 1 monitor corresponds. So, plane, this is the floor, boss, floor. And this one, what is this one? Oh, there it is. This is the back, thrown back. So I got these labeled. This I'm gonna do my standard 100 in the air and put it at 0, 0, even though it makes no difference. And what else are we doing here? It's been 30 minutes. I've got some stuff done. I've got something going on, I guess. So we got our player. So this guy's gonna be. I set these placeholder just because I'm not sure if I'm going to do a separate player for each room or if I'm going to actually teleport him into the next room once he gets through or what. So we've got this player, and I need different trap types and stuff. I'm not even sure what I'm going to do for the traps. I'm not even entirely sure what the look of everything's going to be for the traps. I'm going to have descriptors too in some way to make it, to sell it, because as I said, I'm going abstract, but you can get away with that sometimes if you just use text or audio or something to explain things. So I'm going to have the buttons labeled in some way, and so you'll know what the trap does, and I'm going to try and emulate what the trap does in the screen, but it's going to be really your imagination filling things in. So let's focus on the player here. I guess I'll double click it. So double clicking seems pretty like it works pretty well for focusing on things, by the way. For some reason hitting F, like, oh, it worked that time, sure, why not? I'm just having trouble with that for some reason. So I'm going to create a new, I'm going to duplicate this one. I'm going to call it vector blue. This is going to represent our environment that the player's in. I'm just going to basically have it color coded. So he's going to be jumping around on blue platforms, and then he's going to what is he going to do? He's going to be killed by traps that are red, and I'm going to probably have both red representing kind of like enemies and stuff, and also red representing potentially things to activate or things that can be destroyed, or maybe I'll use yellow too. We'll see what I end up using. So I'm going to create another cube, and this one is, where did they position it? Interesting. Oh, well, let's create that cube again. Let's make this vector blue. This is going to represent our floor for the first area. I'm going to go back to the align view to selected on the room 1 camera. Alright, so we're going to grab this cube now. Okay, so it doesn't align it in an orthographic manner, but that's okay. It's at least probably close enough. We're going to scale the Y. No. I'm going to scale the X across. And I think I may actually do some basic physics for the player. Yeah, that's looking kind of cool, actually. I like it. Alright, I'm basically going to do some basic physics stuff with the player. So I'm going to have him jump around and stuff. And I'm not sure how many rooms I'm going to have. Rooms are going to be based on the amount of time I have. I'm just going to make sure that I have at least like 2 or 3 before the boss room. and I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to handle everything after that, but we'll see. Let's do a room. I'm going to try and complete a room and a trap for that room in this code sprint, and then I'm going to get it uploading, because as I said, I'm not doing this live, obviously. But yeah, and honestly, I don't know if code sprint is even the right word for it, because I'm probably not going to write all that much code. That is so cool that that's there. You'll see why it's cool in a second. It doesn't look as cool when it's not moving, but it's going to be moving at some point. So yeah, let's make this longer so it goes across the screen. So let's make it like 20 or 18. Let's see. Does that do it? 20, I guess, would have been the choice. And that probably makes sense because what did I set for the size? One camera is 10. Yeah, so 20 would be exactly right. Because it's a square aspect ratio, and 10 means something that's not 10. I don't know. So yeah, that's perfect. So let's go ahead and move this down a little bit so it's at the proper kind of video game style distance. I'm going to go, what, 28? Let's do 30, negative 30. Hit play, see where that puts us. That's good. And then we're going to resize it a little bit, so like 5 high. And we're going to do negative 30. Or we might have to bring it up a little bit or down a little bit. Negative 35. That's too far. Let's do 30 and just make it a little bit bigger again. Let's make it 6 and maybe 32. There we go. So I guess that kind of looks like water though. I might have to just texture it with like some grid stuff or something so that it actually reads a little bit better, but we'll start with that. So let's make the player a physics object. Do we want to do that, or do we want to do... Yeah, we can just do that. We can just give them pretty basic AI. Let's see. Maybe the first room will be completely uneventful, and it'll just be allow you to kind of figure out that, or it should be the front gate. That's what it should be. So the first room represents the front gate, and we'll do it Castlevania style. We'll make it so that you can close the gate, but the player will make it every time. Maybe. Does that sound good? Nah, that doesn't sound that interesting. Or maybe, oh, even better. We're going to have him stay at the gate, and the gate will be closed, and you'll have to open it for the player. I think that speaks worlds about the villainous aspect, because I want this to be kind of the cheese ball villain, where you have everything planned out, and you want to kill the player, but like obviously you're going to invite him into your death trap. So I'm going to have the player just move up, and if you don't open the door for him, he's just going to start jumping there. And then when you open the door, it basically starts the game. And that allows you to kind of get used to the scene. This is perfect. This is actually exactly the way I want to do this. So I'm going to have the red represent what you can interact with, just so that the play. No, maybe the red should let the people know that the player is going to die. Yeah, let's use yellow for interact, and we'll make all the buttons yellow. Does that make sense? Yeah, we'll try that. Duplicate this, vector yellow, and we're going to make this one yellow. We're going to create a new cube. Wait, what's this one? This one's going to be called room 1 floor. Maybe I may have to actually... We may group these together too at some point, and then I'll probably take all the prefixes out. We're going to create a new cube, and this one we're going to set as vector yellow. And all these cubes are at the same depth, right? It doesn't matter in the sense of rendering, but it matters a lot in the sense of why is all this at Z10? All right, whatever, Z10's fine. It's going to matter a lot for the collision stuff, because as I said, I'm going to be basically treating this as a 2D game, but it's going to be one that plays itself. So this is going to be our drawbridge type thing. So I'm going to go ahead and increase the... And again, there's no way you'd know this is a drawbridge, right? Except for I'm going to have it labeled. So we'll see how this actually works. 7, let's do 7. And drawbridges cover things, so I'm going to actually change the way this looks a little bit. I'm going to actually make a duplicate of this, and we're going to move it over to here. And I'll resize that in a second, and then I'm going to resize this one. We're going to make it 10 in the X direction, and then move this underneath to 4 maybe. So I need a pivot on this. This is going to be our drawbridge. Actually, I'm going to call this drawbridge geometry. I'm going to create a new empty game object, and we're going to place it in the appropriate place for this to rotate down. So we want it to be wherever this point is, which is 29 it looks like. So I don't know about the X position, that seems sketchy. So first of all, is this in a good position? XY is 7, so the drawbridge, the game object I just created, this should be at 7 and 29. So 29. So the reason I'm doing this is because I want to basically, now I need to actually move this up 0.5, so 29.5. No, sorry, 28.5. So this is going to rotate down, and that's going to be the rotation position. So let's go ahead and put the drawbridge geometry in here. We're going to call this room 1 drawbridge. And we're going to rotate this thing in. I'm just going to go ahead and try it out first. So, whoops, that's not what I want to rotate. I want to rotate this. See, now it folds down like a drawbridge should. And let's, that's pretty even. It's even enough for me to not care about adjusting it anymore. So let's go back to our room 1 drawbridge, change that back, and we want something that shows that the player can die. And actually, that's even better. I'm going to have him jump a bunch, and then occasionally he'll just kill himself. And so you could just leave him here and watch him die a bunch of times. And how am I going to do the scoring? Do I want to do scoring? I don't even need to do scoring for this type of game because it's such a weird game. I'm actually really excited to see how this turns out. So I'm going to create another cube. This will be called Room 1 Lava. And this is going to be create a new material. Oh, I guess I want to just duplicate materials again, sorry. Delete. Vector. Isn't that cool that when I go to like new render texture it shows this scene here? I just think that's cool. I've really wanted render targets for a long time, and I'm really excited to be using the Unity trial to check them out. I also want to do like screen effects stuff, and so I might explore some of that. I'm probably not going to explore that on the Unity Cooking with Unity proper. I may do an episode of just like a special called Unity Pro. Give this link out if it's still valid. Vector red. So here we go. We're going to do red. Oh, that's red, isn't it? Okay. Well, red is the lack of the other colors, so throw that on here, make sure it's in the proper place. That's pretty good. And then we're going to put it down and down, and we're going to make it bigger. 5, 6. And this one we can get away with just offsetting just enough that it doesn't Z fight. So we're just going to do 10.1. 10.1. Actually, I don't like that. I'm going to actually just change the Z scale to 1.1, 1.9. There we go. And then we're going to scale the Y up a bit. Doesn't have to be that far, but so now if I hit play, what do we got? Okay, we can see the edge on the left there, so we want to make that a little bit wider. I'm going to move it to the left a little bit, right about there. And this we need to make taller and bring it down a little bit further. Alright, so we have our first little level. So it's not much of a level, but it's, yeah, I'm excited. I have this vision in my mind, and it's just not gonna, it's so not gonna be there in 17 hours, but actually, you know, less than 17 hours, it's gonna be 16 hours in another 20 minutes, but, I don't know, I'm pumped. I'm really pumped. I hope this turns out well. So, what are we doing? God, I'm gonna have to render a video. Hopefully I can still work on this while the video's rendering. It'll probably be fine. It'll dictate when my next code sprint is, definitely, because I'm probably gonna be uploading to YouTube for like 4 hours, so might even defer it to another computer. So let's add a rigid body to our player. Just see how that works. Physics, rigid body, and oh, it's playing. Okay, good. I didn't. Luckily, I had everything going. So rigid body, and we don't want. We want the constraints here. We want to freeze the. Freeze the rotation on all of them, and we're going to freeze the Z position. We're going to hit play, and you can see it fell down there. Very cool. Oh yeah, this is going to be awesome. And so this is where the player's going to spawn, so I'm probably going to have to put a player spawner in the game or something. And I may just actually continue the level to the right with other cameras, so that'll be cool. So we need some AI, so I'm actually going to do a little bit of coding for my code sprint. This is actually the first script I've written for this project. Everything else has been from just the Unity standard assets and just texture and positioning work and rigid bodies and stuff. So, what am I doing? Player AI. That's kind of funny to call something player AI, but it's appropriate for this project. So, I'm recording my face right now, but I'm probably not going to show it at all. Actually, you know, maybe I could show it the whole time, and you can see how much I pick my nose, and I don't know, we'll see what happens. I'm not even sure if I'm centered in the frame. See, proof that I haven't done any coding yet because I'm still haven't got mono developed in the right place. There we go. So I don't know what variables we're gonna need just yet. I guess some public float speed equals 1.0 f. Public float jump jump height equals 1.0 f. We'll just do a lot of 1.0s at first. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have some automation to this guy. I need him to detect if he can't cross. No, I'll just hard code him. That's what I'll do. I'll do collision based. We'll do hotboxes. When he enters certain hotboxes, I can script him to do some stuff. So on void start, we're just going to, okay, on update, we're just going to, I'm not going to do transform. Yeah, I am. Why wouldn't I? No, you should use the physics, Max. Use the physics. But what about friction? I don't want friction. But no, I kind of do want friction. I guess we'll just have him move right, and then he'll apply a jump. Yeah, let's just see how it works if we do it that way. Transform. I never pay attention to that rule of never adjusting transform of things that are using rigid body. Transform dot position plus equals vector 3 dot right times speed times time dot delta time. So let's see how this plays with the physics already. If we hit play, nothing happens because I didn't attach it to the player. So we're going to put the player here. Oh, and evidently I renamed it at the wrong time, so player AI. Alright, so now let's attach it to the player and hit play. So he falls and he's moving forward. Okay, so it does work. And he's going slowly. That's probably a good thing. We may keep that. That's funny. I don't know, that entertained me. So the problem is I'm going to want so I'm actually going to make the player really thin. I'm going to make him ridiculously thin. He can be 0.1 thin. So the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to remove the collider on the lava. Actually, I need the collider there, but I need it to not fall through. Oh, that's what we'll do. We'll make it a trigger collider. That'll solve the problem readily. So that'll kill him when he hits it. And we're doing it old school style. It doesn't even change his descent. He's just gonna fall in, and he's gone. All right. So now that I've got that, I've got 15 minutes left in my code sprint. I wanted this room to operate, so let's make it so that we can operate the button. I'm not going to do the special him jumping thing. It's just going to be he'll kill himself if you don't lower the bridge. So let's hook up something back up on the screen. So I don't know what these... Wow, that's weird. I guess I'm at a weird angle. Alright, so we're going to have a button under here. So I'm going to actually create a very quick screen enclosure type thing. Maybe. Nah, screw that. I'm just going to create a floating button for right now. So I'm just going to create a ball, create a sphere. I hate creating spheres because they're just huge on the geometry for some reason, and it's just horrible. Let's put this at 0. Yeah, that's close enough for me to figure out what to do with it. So I like the idea of color coding things, so I'm going to actually go with the vector yellow on it, just so... Actually, I'm going to create a new one called... Duplicate this one. I'm going to call it diffuse yellow. And we're going to throw that on here, so it's going to... And then this one is just going to be regular diffuse, so it's textured, kind of. And we're going to make this thing very small. It's going to be... why can't I click on it? Oh, because I'm not in this mode. So we're going to make the scale like 0.1, 0.1, and 0.1. And where's this thing positioned? I'm just going to copy the position for this thing. There's some trick to... Oh yeah, copy component. Paste component values. Oh, that's really cool. That's actually really useful to know that works. I had read that somewhere and I didn't believe it, but it totally does work. The other thing I'm going to do is, I don't trust having things that are exactly 0. I'm just going to put this as 0.1. That's too much, though, actually, a 0.01 there. So now we have our button. I'm going to just position it slightly below the screen. And we'll make fancier enclosures for these things later. So I need clicking stuff. So I'm actually going to pull this. This script's available publicly on Cooking with Unity. So if anyone wants to use it, they would be welcome to on a project. Where's my public folder? There it is. Unity scripts. I think this is the only one I've got in here. Hopefully it's the updated version. Probably isn't. So, nope, it's the updated one. It has the hit dot point. Cool. Very cool. So we're going to use that. All this thing does is just send a message when you click. And I'm going to just throw this on the camera, on the main camera. So that's in the first person controller here. Is there anything I have to do special? I can do the debug thing, but that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and apply this, even though it's applying it to a prefab that's built into Unity. And so we're gonna create another script called animate on clicked. Is that what it's gonna be? Yeah, let's try that. On clicked. I've not really used the animation system, so we'll see if this actually makes a lot of sense. Let's set up the animation first before I decide to do it this way. Part of the reason I do projects is so I can learn, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do a Ludum Dare project and not learn something from it, so I want to give me that thing. Alright, so we're going to create an animation. So how do we do this? I think we can create a animation thing. Here we go. I'm going to put this down here. And we're going to click record. I'm going to call this drawbridge.anim save. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a keyframe here. Did that do anything? I don't know. And we're going to take the rotation on the z-axis and we're going to adjust it to 180. No, we're not. 1, 0. We want it to take like 2 seconds, I think. Is that what this is in seconds? This is frames. It's weird that it wouldn't have more specific. I guess that's seconds. That's weird. Can I not do something in half a second? Is that the case? So rotation Z is 0, and then let's just do 5 seconds in to see how this goes. Now let's do 2 and create this to 180. No, 90. There we go. So if I finish recording and hit play, it totally animated down. But it did it in like 2 chunks. Drawbridge or one drawbridge. Why are these like frames? Like, why would they use a base 60? Oh, I guess this is 1 second. I guess that makes sense. So if I do this, this is 1 second, isn't it? Yes, it is. So let's make it 2 seconds. That makes a lot more sense. So they do it as a base 60 seconds. All right, so that automatically plays. That was exceptionally easy to do. That's very cool. Now all I have to do is click play automatically off. And then all I have to do is play the animation unclicked. So if I just do void clicked. So what we're going to do is we're going to play an animation on object. I think I just need the object to do that. So public game object object to animate. So we're going to do object to animate dot play, no, dot animation dot play. And let's just see if this works. So if we hit play here, and oh, I need to actually click on it. Okay, so that's not going to work perfectly. Let's see what happens if I get it. It didn't work. Oh, I didn't attach the script to anything. Womp womp. So the sphere is room 1 button. We're going to throw the animate on clicked on here. And then we're going to, what are we doing with this now? Room 1 button, animate on clicked. We're going to actually attach our room 1 drawbridge here. Then we hit play, and then if I can get my mouse in a position where I can do this, there we go. Click it. It went down and stopped the player in his tracks. That is awesome. I'm super excited about all of this. So, yeah, I can see, do I see black? Oh, that's just because there's a thickness to it. Actually, I'm going to take the thickness down even more than on the room 1 monitor. We're going to switch this up to, do one more 0. Let's see if that fixes the edge problem looking bad. It's better. It's not perfect, but it's better. So the other thing I want to fix is this isn't a use the mouse type of game. This is a game where you have you're going to be pointing your screen at things to select them. So I'm going to need a little crosshair type thing somewhere. I'm probably going to put it to the left of this level here. But I'm also going to want to put I'm going to want to change the clicked operation. So I actually don't need to use my detach clicks and touches script, actually. That's not what I wanted. Which is good, because now it's like I'm not actually cheating. Like, there's potential that that could be considered cheating, that I just used some script from somewhere else, even though I'm fairly certain that as it was publicly available, I could. But I'm going to delete it. Actually, cancel that. I'm going to make sure that the camera doesn't have it first, because I don't like to have scripts just lying around. Hit delete. So we want to create a new script. We're going to just create one from scratch here. This is going to be called send clicked what am I going to call this? I'm going to call this first person interact manager. Yeah, we'll go ahead and call it a manager, even though it's going to be very, very basic. So we're going to, we don't want to do it on mouse down. We want to do if mouse input dot get, let's do get button down. We're going to add another feature to this later, but this is going to be fine for right now. So I'm going to call it, so I'm going to say public string button equals fire1. That's a built-in one. I've used this on the show before. It's a good default value just because it'll actually work on the mouse button and a few other things. So if, oh, not 0, button. And it allows the player to actually configure their inputs as opposed to have it configured for them. And so if we click that, if we do that button, I'm still gonna probably use I'm gonna use touched actually. I'm gonna send message touched. So we're gonna cast a ray and find out what object we hit. Then we're going to send touched message to that object. So we cast the ray, so that's going to be simply, we're going to set up a ray. So we're going to use viewport. So camera.main.viewport point to array, and all we need is a position. So this is going to be a new vector 3, and we do 0.5, so this is halfway across the x-axis of the screen, halfway across the y-axis of the screen, and the last one doesn't actually matter, but I'm making it 0 anyway. And so this will give us a ray. So we're going to do ray equals camera main viewport to ray. And then we're going to, what else? Well, it's been an hour. I'm not going to cut it off just yet. I'm going to finish this up real quick, and then I'm not going to polish it, but I'm going to finish this section. And then I'm going to start uploading this video so that you guys can actually see it. Ray. So we're going to do if physics.raycast ray, and we want hit info. So we need info. I'm just going to create that variable, and actually we need to say out info. So this is going to be raycast hit info. So we want info.game.collider.gameObject.sendMessage string method name touched. I'm not going to worry about its position, so we're just going to do that right now, and we don't want to require receiver. And so that's what this does. So touched is going to be our new thing. So I'm going to actually change this to animate on touched, and we're going to change it to touched and touched. I think it's more appropriate. And finally, to make it so I can actually hit this thing, I'm not going to worry about that. So let's see. So animate on touched will still be active. I want to get rid of the audio listeners for the player camera. Maybe I want the audio listeners on the camera that's active that the player's in. We'll worry about that later. I'm just going to disable the audio listener, not remove it entirely, so that at least I don't get that message. Reference script on this behavior is missing. Which reference script on which behavior? Huh. Did I not get rid of the... That always worries me when I have little errors like that. Alright, so we're going to put this on the main camera, even though it doesn't really matter what we attach it to, just as long as it's attached to something. Gonna try and find the point where I can click on this thing. Oh, it worked! It did work. Alright, I had to hunt and peck because I needed to get it right in the center of the screen, but it did actually work. The reference script on this behavior is missing. That really... I shouldn't have deleted that script, because I knew this was going to cause some problems. Oh, probably because I'm going to hit apply, and then I'm going to hit play. Did that fix it? That did. Okay, so it was because the prefab had that. So this is working. Yep. That's good enough for right now. So I'm going to say goodbye for right now, and I'm going to get this uploaded. Thanks for watching. Wish me luck.